They say just do it. I say do it like this. The topic for the moment is where do you draw the line? And this is probably one of the base games that we play together in networks. Is where do you draw the line? So, for example, where should the drinking age be if you should even have a drinking age, right? And where that line is eventually drawn is basically arbitrary. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 14, 3, right? That's my point. And you can have factors that you're going to consider, but then, then you can ask the question, well, why those factors, right? Of all the factors that are available. And I mention this to mention the flexibility that we have in terms of deciding what to do, right? But the base rule is is unavoidable, right? The fact that it's arbitrary, right? So that means you have a different basis for coming together and making an agreement, right? And it means that this notion of right and wrong really is much more relative than people want to admit, because it's scary, right? The relativity of morality, it doesn't provide a strong foundation for what you think is right, and things that other people think are right or good that you don't vibe with, well, you don't really have an argument against them in that way. So, where do you draw the line is the base game, and there are no right answers. And so that's the reality you live in. And the sooner you come to be comfortable with these kinds of liquid, gassy, non-solid realities, the sooner you start to be able to build something solid, because you will build something solid anyway, because you make commitments, right, that you can't take back, right? Just how time works at this point, right? So that's what I wanted to share here. Just the simple fact that one of the games that we play is where do you draw the line, and we can have discussions about it, right? But at the end of the day, you're making commitments that are in some ways arbitrary, and that you have to make the commitment that is in some way arbitrary, which has this implication of why there are exceptions to rules that we make up, right? It's because we can't account for everything in a rule, because it's drawing a line, and then we're going to come across some situation that doesn't quite fit, but we have a sense that, this really should go this way, right? But we can't make the general rule for that, because then that would be messed up, right? That's what I'm sharing here. Where do you draw the line is a game that we all play, and people are going to enforce lines that are drawn, right? And that becomes a place of conflict when someone has drawn a line you don't like, right? But we can recognize that as part of the game and deal with it. But to say that this is in some kind of permanent sense, in some kind of completely 100% justifiable sense, when it comes to people and the rules of interaction between us, the things we decide to do, like a drinking age, or when is it okay the age of consent, or how much should we spend on education, or any of those questions, they're all arbitrary relative to an agenda. Once you commit yourself to an agenda, it kind of says, okay, go this way. that's another story, another little wrinkle in it. But the basic idea that the game is where you draw the line, and getting agreement on that, there's nothing you can do about that. That's how it is. So they say just do it. I say do it like this. Where do you draw a line? Where do you draw the line is a real game that's unavoidable. And get used to the fact that there's no solid floor other than the one you make or take on. All right. Again, they say just do it. I say do it like this.